Welcome to another episode of City Chronicles. I'm Kevin Avard, your host, and we've been doing this for a while. And we love to talk about people that are local, and if you have a local business or you have a nonprofit that you want to come on the show and talk about, we're here for you, and so that you can get your story out. I was in church the other day, and I met this gentleman, Raymond, in church. And he came back another time with some of his artwork, and I thought, oh, you're an artist. And so he's a freelance artist, and he's local. And when he showed some of his work, I was flabbergasted. I was just absolutely amazed. And I wanted to showcase some of his material. So if you folks in town need an artist for portraits or something to that effect, I think I found somebody that could really do an amazing job for you, whether it's a family photo or a particular photo of a scenery or a particular person that you care to see. I think you'd be really impressed. So with that, I want to introduce Raymond Marshall.
Yes. Raymond,
welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. So, it's interesting. Our paths just crossed, and I happened to see you in church with this binder, and I think, oh my gosh, he's an artist. Interesting. So how long have you been an artist?
Since I was about 7.
7 years old. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you've been, how did you know that you were an artist at that time?
Well, at first I didn't. I was originally inspired by my big sister, Yolanda. Mm-hmm. She drew a picture of my baby sister, and I knew right then that I wanted to draw.
Yeah.
And she's the only one that's ever really coached me.
Is she as good as you?
I like to say she's better than me.
Yeah.
She won't agree, but I like to say so. And she's always been my mentor. Mm-hmm. She taught me to begin my drawings with a sketch rather, because I started with one continuous line, and she told me not to do that. She showed me how to sketch. The greatest thing I think she ever did for me was she gave me an advantage over a lot of other artists. Because you go to an art class, they'll put an apple on the table and say, okay, everybody draw the apple. She didn't do that. She said, okay, close your eyes. I closed my eyes. She said, picture an apple. She said, you see it? I said, yes. She said, okay, look at it real good. Okay, now open your eyes and draw that. That got me used to looking at everything in detail, remembering it, and being able to draw it later.
Interesting. Yeah. Does she still draw?
No, now she's a teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does she teach art?
No. She always calls on me when the art projects come up.
Interesting. Yeah, but obviously she was a teacher at a young age.
Yes,
yeah.
She was. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So, so you started practicing more and more as time went on.
Yes.
How did this develop?
Well, you see, when I was real young, I didn't remember that, but she told me later. She told me about it. When I was real young, I stuttered a lot. I didn't speak well. Mm-hmm. I couldn't get what was in my head into words where it would come out right. So I thought, and I discovered that whatever I was feeling, I could draw it on paper. I could, so that made it real special to me, real close to me. And I just started drawing different things and developing my own techniques over the years. It was my way of expressing myself. So at that age, I purposely stayed away from art classes because I had my own way of doing it that worked for me. Mm-hmm. And I was afraid classes may change that or interfere with it. Yeah. So I just taught myself over the years.
So how did this work out in school? Did you draw things for people?
Yeah, I did. I didn't do a lot of that in school. That came later, and because I really didn't see it as anything special because it was always so easy for me. It was just there from day one. Yeah. It took other people's reactions to my work for me to start seeing something in it myself. Yeah,
it's interesting. Yeah, it's a wonder when other people see the talents that you have that you don't realize that you have.
I didn't.
I think that's a lot of people can recognize things in you that you don't, and that's why it's good to bounce things off of individuals. So you became a tattoo artist. When did that start?
That happened later. A buddy of mine introduced me to the guy I used to work for, and I started working with him at his shop and doing a little light tattoos. I didn't do a lot of it, mm-hmm. but I did a little.
As long as you didn't misspell words, that's fine, right?
Yeah. But I don't know. I just, I kind of veered away from that because this was more my thing. Tattooing was a lot of tracing. Okay. That's one thing I never really wanted to.
You couldn't do any freelance with that.
I could, but I don't like tracing. I never did.
Yeah.
I like to freehand things.
Really? And so, you know, we got a picture here. I asked you about this before we got on the show, and it's beautiful.
Thank you.
It's a beautiful picture, and this is your vision of what Cleopatra would have looked like.
What she may have looked like, yeah.
Yeah. So, how did you come up with that idea? I mean, well, so you know, when you watch some of the older movies and you see Cleopatra and stuff like this, looks nothing like
no,
that.
It doesn't. Well, there was a number of reasons why she has the appearance she does. Well, a couple of reasons actually. From where she came from, she, in my opinion, she had to be a woman of color. Mm-hmm. All right, and I know she. From what I've heard and read, she was a very beautiful woman, so I tried to capture that. As far as the background, there's a show I've always been fond of, Stargate SG-1.
Yes, I noticed the symbols on that. Yes, exactly. I've watched a lot of those. Yes.
And they deal with an Egyptian culture called the Goa'uld. And so since she's Egyptian, I just thought I would throw the Stargate and the galaxy in the background.
Very, very, you know, I thought, okay, I recognize that. I watched the very beginning one with, what's his name, Kurt Russell. There's
no.
one, that's the original.
Oh, no? That's not the original.
That's not the original?
No, it was, I forget his name, the guy that played MacGyver.
MacGyver, yes, yeah.
That's not Kurt Russell.
That's true. There was a series with MacGyvers, and I watched all those. But there's a movie called that Kurt Russell was.
But he did some episodes later. Kurt Russell, he did play it.
Okay, yeah.
He did star in that.
Very interesting. But I did notice that, and I thought, wow, I recognize that from somewhere, and so you just brought it together. Mm-hmm. So the next one, everybody knows Snoop Doggy Dogg, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so. Again, what inspired you to do that?
Well, one of the guys I used to work with, he asked me to do a Snoop portrait for him, mm-hmm. and you know, he would purchase it from me. So I did that one. That's mainly the reason I did that. But then I like doing celebrities anyway.
Yeah. Well, I see Beyonce there.
Yeah, Beyonce. Yeah. I saw some of her pictures, and I just had to do them. They were just awesome photos. So.
You know, I'm struck by the detail. Again,
I love detail. I'm a detail fanatic.
Yeah, and I'm floored by it. So, do you have a studio?
Not yet. I'm working on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In town?
Yeah. Trying to get one here in town.
Where have you done most of your work?
At home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you originally from Nashville?
No, I'm originally from California.
Welcome.
Thank you. I moved to Texas. I was there for about 5 years, and then I came from there to here. The guy I used to work for, he finally convinced me to come here.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd come out here and try it.
Breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Well, it's quite different than California and Texas.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you in the cold part of California or?
No, Southern California.
Southern, yeah.
Los Angeles, California.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Unbelievable. And so, I recognize this is Whitney.
No, that's actually Shaka Khan.
Oh, that's Shaka. Okay, I'm looking at it from an angle.
They look rather similar. Their facial features are similar.
Interesting. You know, I actually wrote the way I'm looking at it right now, and then of course Bob Marley.
Yeah.
Again, the detail. So I think I asked you this on camera offline, but you must have some very tiny little pencils to do that type of.
I keep them very sharp. Yeah, for some of that detail, you have to have a very sharp pencil.
Interesting.
And I'm a detail fanatic. It has to look right. Like the leather coat. When people look at that, I want them to know that it's a leather coat. And in order to do that, I had to go into pretty deep into detail.
Exactly. And so the black background, I mean, just coloring that in, is that a special type of pencil to do that?
I do have some darker pencils that I use, but most of it is a regular number 2.
Regular number 2. Wow. So there are no erasers in your house, right? In case someone is just, or are there?
There are, yeah.
You have some special erasers?
Yeah, I do. In fact, I use some of the erasers on for some of the highlights.
And the hair, it's stunning. How on Bob Marley. And of course, we have Prince. Yeah, we were just talking a little bit about that off of camera. He did an amazing lead guitar to "While My Guitar Gently Weeps." It's you look at it and it's like, wow, good job. Hats off. And it's some of the really, really talented people gone.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was he like 50 or something?
Who, Prince?
Prince.
We're on that age, yeah.
Around 50 years old. Is this the Ice Cream Man?
We have Jerry Garcia from the Grateful
Jerry
Dead.
Garcia. I'm just saying, Grateful Dead. Unbelievable. And of course, everybody knows Jimmy.
Yeah, everybody knows who that is.
Yeah. Unbelievable. And so for some of the country fans and
Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash. You've captured their faces now. I'm intrigued by Gollum. you got the is that the actual way that it is written?
Yes.
The Elvish, old Elvish. I've watched this many a time, over and over and over again. The Lord of the Rings, very, very stunning. What inspired you on that one?
Just the detail, the highlights and shadows in the pictures. I plan to do more. Also,
are you a sci-fi freak? I mean,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Same.
Definitely. Also, Harry Potter. I have a book on Harry Potter and some of the photos, the detail and the highlights and shadows. I love them, so I'll be doing some of those as well.
So, have you done anything on Keanu Reeves, like with The Matrix? Have you watched?
Not yet.
Yeah, everybody, that one where he's leaning back and he dodges the bullet and stuff. But there's that's a really good.
So those are effects that I love dealing with, like to show motion or also textures and like transparent fabrics, stuff like that. I love doing. Yeah, I love playing around with that. That's interesting.
Yeah. So when you're walking around town, you're looking at things differently.
Yeah, I'm looking at everything.
Yeah.
I as a result of the way my sister started me off, I look at everything in detail. And I look at that, I'm taking in information because there may be a drawing I'm working on where I get to a certain part and I'm trying to figure out how to make this fold look right. And earlier I may have looked at, while talking to you, I may have noticed the shadows and highlights in your sleeve, the way the fabric falls. And I get to that part and I go, oh, I remember. And I'll use that. So I'm taking in information all the time.
So my wife and I will go for a walk or something like that, and maybe we'll go to the beach, and we love watching people. You must observe things in people.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. And the funny thing is she'll be standing right next to me, and somebody will be walking by, and she'll go, honey. And I'm pretending not to look at babe, they can see you doing that. It's like, chill, give me a minute. But people are they're so different in a beautiful way. You tend to admire and question a lot, you know. But when we go to the beach or we go anywhere, it's an interesting thing. And of course, we know who Yoda is. Yeah. My brother years ago used to do the mountains, the Misty Mountains.
Yeah.
And, I think in the Led Zeppelin there, but Led Zeppelin sang about it. Never knew about it until the book. He was reading the books, The Lord of the Rings. He did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
I don't know who this guy is. Barack, I mean, that's an amazing picture of Barack. President Obama, unbelievable.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's stunning, of course. And there's Oprah. Everybody knows Oprah. I didn't notice that you had the puppies in there as well.
Yeah. Now these, I got both of these photos off the internet. This one originally, she was holding. It was Elmo, one of the Muppets.
Oh.
And I took him out and found two of her dogs, because everybody knows their dog. And I put them in there and put her hand up like she was holding them.
Now, have you ever kind of had an opportunity to share this with them?
No.
Any of the celebrities at all?
Well, actually, let's see, two that I know of have seen their portraits. Shaka Khan, she saw hers.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, because I'd met, a buddy of mine called me and told me that he had met her son. And I'd say, oh, you got to introduce me. So I met him, and I showed him my portrait of his mom, and he actually told me it was the best one he ever seen of his mom. I was blown away. So he used my camera, my phone, and he took a picture of her and texted it to her. She texted right back and said she loved it, and she wanted a copy. So what I did, I went to her next concert, and I managed to get downstage.
Oh,
of course,
cool.
I couldn't get to her, of course, but we got her manager to come over, and I gave it to. I told him what I wanted, I wanted to give that package to her, and he said he would give it to her. I don't know if she ever got it or not, but I do know she saw it, because I never heard anything from it, so. But
it's you're touching, you're just that close to somebody that's Shaka Khan. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I also found out from her communication when she texted back that she's an artist as well. I didn't know that. But yeah, so I'm sure.
Well, musical artist, but they're.
No, she does artwork. She paints.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't know that at first.
Do you paint at all?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. No.
I'm just waiting to get in a location where I can actually set up, and because painting is different from drawing.
Yeah.
When you stop on a painting, you want to leave everything just like it is, and come back to it and pick up where you left off.
So, are you talking oil paint or watercolor?
Oils and acrylic.
Acrylic, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And pastels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I knew an artist years ago. His name is Alan Hall. I graduated from Plymouth, and one of the things that he was talking about with the oil paints, or I don't know if they were acrylic or oil, but he said, there are all kinds of styles. Some people like to use a thick amount, and some people get really timid. So there's just a whole different genre with that.
It is.
Now, do you have works of your oils?
No, I don't have any more. Any not in existence anymore. I had some, but those got lost some time ago.
Yeah. Life happens. Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
So we know Oprah, and then we flip over here to
Kurt Cobain.
Kurt Cobain. Oh my gosh, and it's so weird. I was at the Capitol, and I was singing to some of the kids, and some of these kids are the troubled kids, and they were smart. They were smart, but they looked like, okay, yep. You're the principal's office for you. I was one of those kids. I was definitely one of those kids, and I sang a song that I sing to the 4th and 5th graders, and these kids are teens, so it's kind of hard to break the ice. But if you walk in with a guitar, it's like, oh, okay, I'll listen to you.
Yeah.
And one of the first things one of the kids asked if can you do any Kurt Cobain? I said, who? Kurt Cobain. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, how do you know about Kurt Cobain? You're too young, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't have any. We do a song called Plush, but I don't think Kurt Cobain does that. No. Anyway, but amazing. And so who's this guy?
Walt Disney.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What made you do this?
Well, a friend of mine, my play sister, her sister, had a friend that worked at Walt Disney Studios, and she told me I should do a Walt Disney, because she could, through him, she may be able to show it to them. I did, it never happened, never took place, but I did this one for that reason.
Have you ever thought of wanting to be an artist for something like that, Walt Disney or cartoons? Yeah.
In fact, my dad had taken me, I was quite young, I think I was in junior high school, and he took me to Walt Disney Studios, and I showed them my work, and they liked it, but they told me I needed to study like 4 years of animation, and come back, and they would look into hiring me. But at that young age, 4 years sounded like forever, so
sure.
So I didn't pursue it.
Yeah. Have you ever thought of doing commercial art?
Yeah. In fact, I have done the storyboard for a film. I was back in LA, and I went to the Urban League and showed them my work, and the lady took my number and told me there was somebody she wanted me to meet, and a producer, Luther Pompey, called me, and he and this other sculptor, Nigel Benz, they were filming a movie about an ancient black samurai called The Legend of Founding Father. So I went and showed them my work. They were impressed. They liked it, and they had me to do the storyboard for the movie. Yeah.
So have you walked? How long have you been in Nashua?
I've been in Nashua for about 3 months now.
3 months.
Yeah.
So as you're walking around town, you're starting to see positive street art.
Yeah, I just recently got connected with Positive Street Art.
Yeah, Manning.
Manny.
Yeah, Manning.
And Cecilia.
Yeah, and Cecilia. Yeah, they've been on the show.
Oh, they have?
Yeah,
Okay.
a long time ago, actually. And it's taken off quite a bit. He's done a lot of artwork around town.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing some mural work with them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. How is that different than this?
Well, it's on a much larger scale,
Yeah.
for one thing. And then I'll be getting into a lot of it will be airbrush, which I've done before, but it's been a long time ago, so I'm really looking forward to getting back into it.
Yeah.
Polishing my skills in that area. But I want to combine the airbrush with hand painting as well for detail.
Would you do storefronts, or is that...
Yeah.
Yeah, you would.
What I really, really like to get into would be doing biblical scenes inside of churches.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I think I've discussed one with you as well. I'd love, at some point, there's a scene where there's a picture of the Ark of the Covenant. You know, some people might, the only reference to that, they would only know, who's... oh my gosh, Harrison Ford.
Okay.
Yeah, the Ark of the Covenant, and he went searching for it and whatnot. But there really was an Ark of the Covenant, and the nation Israel used to carry it around. And in that area, there was a thing called the mercy seat, and I would love to see something where there's an Ark of the Covenant in the mercy seat, and then of course the cross of Jesus Christ. With the crown of thorns on top, with the blood dripping onto the mercy seat, because that really is a picture of the gospel. But maybe we can talk about that up the road. But that would be very interesting. I don't know who this is.
That's Maya Angelou.
Who's she?
She was a very renowned poet, very pretty famous poet. Her work was amazing. In fact, I did that one to send to her, but she passed away before I was able to get an address.
So there is a Black history that I'm seeing theme going on here, right? I mean, was she influential? Very influential?
Yes.
Yeah. And it's precious. And of course, we know Steve Harvey. He's your man, Steve Harvey.
I did that one when Bernie Mac, because they were close. You know, they were two of the kings
Bernie
of
Mac
comedy.
passed,
that group. And so when Bernie passed, I did this one to send to Steve, but I wasn't able to get an address where I was sure he would actually get it.
Did Bernie Mac introduce Steve? At one of the clubs? I know that Steve was talking about one of his. He was living in his car at one point, and he had a really.
Yes, I remember Steve mentioning that.
I don't know if it was Bernie Mac or.
Well, Steve Harvey did. He did mention that he was sleeping in his car at one point. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's got a very, very positive attitude.
Yes,
and,
he does.
He's very inspirational, and I think he's a great role model for anybody.
I listened to his what do you call him, the motivational speaking?
Yeah,
quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a great sense of humor too.
Yeah.
And of course, our Star Trek fans.
Yeah, LeVar Burton.
Yeah, and
I know he saw his. Had a friend that his dad knew LeVar Burton, and we sent him a picture, and he did see his. Yeah.
Yeah, but hey, come over to my house, have a cup of coffee. Let's talk about it. You know, did anything like that happen?
Nothing ever came out of it.
Oh no! Jeez. And of course, we know who this is.
Yep.
Alex Haley.
Yep.
I remember, like I was saying off camera, I remember Roots when I was very, very young. Actually, we would run home to go watch it because Roots was going to be on, and there was the series, and it was like, and I didn't know
LeVar Burton.
LeVar was Kunta Kinte.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
I'm pretty certain that was his first movie, Roots.
Interesting.
Then later he became Geordi.
Geordi, yeah.
In Star Trek.
Yeah.
I didn't know it when I did this, but he had a kid show, Reading Rainbows. But by then it was all complete, so I just put it onto his sweater like it was embroidered on there.
Again, you're seeing the texture in the fabric. You see it. It's amazing. And of course, Alex Haley.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like a black and white photo, but it's done. Wow, this is great. Okay, I don't know who this is.
That's Nipsey Hussle out of L.A.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And
young Nipsey.
Young Nipsey, and of course, this is a gentleman that you knew.
Yeah, that was I forget his name, but this is one of the tattoo artists, a friend of the guys that I used to work with over in Manchester. He passed away, so they had me do this one for his funeral. And this one is Dan Dringenberg. He's makes the tattoo machines, and Lyle Tuttle, a well-known tattoo artist.
Interesting. And of course,
everybody
David
knows.
Bowie,
Yeah.
the Man in the Mountain.
Yes, sir.
Of course, we love that. Nice 603. And some natural, and of course, little baby Yoda.
Yeah.
So, how do people get in touch with you? If they want to hire you or get to see some of your work, how do they get in touch with you?
Well, I'm just now getting situated in Nashville, so they would have to contact me via my email address or phone number.
What is that?
It's Raymond Marshall Jr. 54 at gmail.com.
Raymond Marshall Jr. at 54.
Raymond Marshall Jr. 54.
Okay, my
at
apologies.
gmail.com.
At gmail.com.
Yeah.
And that's your email. And what's your phone?
It's 603 674 3623.
Okay, so I'm completely impressed, and I really appreciate you coming on this show. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, this is worth looking at. And if you want to hire an artist to do a family portrait, or a special scene of some sort, or if you have a congregation picture that you would like put on the wall, and if you have a local business and that you would like some artwork done on your storefront, I highly recommend Raymond. So with that, we thank you for watching Gate City Chronicles, and until next week, we appreciate you watching.